Alright, so I actually have a couple of things to talk about this time. First of all, I do want to mention that I did have the opportunity to go to SOAR, but for the purpose of this specific pathing that I'm trying to do, I'm gonna stick to the easy path. All the planets that are like specifically on the easy path, with an exception that I'll get to. Because I did not realize at the time
Starfox. Find that weapon.
exactly how it would work out. Because it's a bit different from 64, so. But I'll explain that here in a little bit. But another thing that I wanted to mention is that at the time of me recording this, I made a post on my channel. I made a, like, I guess this is called like a community post. Maybe it's just a post. I have no idea. It's under the post sections. But it was about a week ago now that I had an injury happen, unfortunately, because, long story short, I have a dog, and we've had this dog for a long time, and so she's like, I think she's 14 right now, so she's pretty old, and because of her old age, she's had a problem of peeing in the house, and one of the places that she peed was directly at the bottom of the staircase we had.
On my tail.
And so I went downstairs and immediately slipped on it, and I landed directly on my tailbone and actually had some electrical shocks go up my spine and cause some back injury. So yeah, I mentioned it in the post, but I don't know how much like the posts get like super promoted, gonna be honest. I'm like, YouTube has not been kind to me on my normal content, so I doubt like many people even saw the post. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, that's what happened, and so luckily I had already some content ready to go, so I was able to continue my upload schedule, which was actually really nice. That I was able to not break my streak, so to speak. But yeah, the downside of it is just, you know, I'm just now at a spot where I'm feeling a bit better and able to actually sit down and record more, because as you could probably imagine, you know, with hurting my back, and specifically it was like lower back area. Standing up and sitting were just absolutely awful for me to try and do. So I'm like, it's gotten better, you know. Luckily I didn't have to go to like the hospital or anything, you know, that crazy. So luckily it ended up being pretty minor, all things considered. But I'm like, yeah, my muscles are like just now starting to feel better.
Whoa,
so
Fox, look behind you.
But it's actually nice, you know,
The secret weapon?
to finally get back to being able to record this stuff. So, especially because, I'm gonna be honest, you know, I really have enjoyed this game. I will say, you know, it's not super different from the 64 version, but dang, I do really just like the Starfox series. I was just thinking one of these times that I would be interested to go back and play some of the GameCube ones. I don't know if you guys have any experience with the GameCube ones. I have like no experience with them. But I know they exist.
Wait a minute. It's back online.
And I wonder if they're... I actually haven't checked very much, but I am curious if they're on like the Nintendo Switch Online GameCube emulator. But I haven't checked. I'm like, worst case scenario, there's other ways I could find to play them, and this is also, you know, more of a personal project, so I may or may not record them.
That's one less weapon in
Still
Andross's
kind of
arsenal. Status report.
up in the air on that one.
Bet I could have reprogrammed it.
Tech like that is better left alone.
That thing had a major screw loose.
But this is where I was talking about earlier that I kind of made a little whoopsie in terms of going full classic, or I guess not classic, but like the easy route is, so in the original N64,
A new intelligence report is available in the
you're
Holo
able
Viewer.
to reroute back to Titania, but they don't let you do this in this one actually.
I imagine the enemy regrets creating such an uncontrollable automaton.
It's nice when the mad science works in our favor. That thing tore their base to pieces and saved us some trouble.
My people are pawing through the wreckage now. It's increasingly clear that much of the weaponry we're encountering has a common origin: Macbeth, the industrial planet. It is the dark heart of Andross's entire operation. Disrupt that operation, and the enemy's manufacturing capabilities will grind to a halt.
You're speaking my language, General. Let me see what we can do.
I'm hacking the enemy network now. If we could intercept this train, we'd cut off the flow of weapons from Macbeth.
So you want us to cause some mayhem? That's my kind of plan.
We could target the train directly, of course, but the railway appears to be secured by a series of locks along the track. If we shoot all 8 locks, we might be able to reroute the train, causing further disruption to enemy supply lines.
It'll be tough for the R-Wings to track the target through some of that terrain.
Actually, I've got something that might help. I've been tinkering on a prototype for a ground assault vehicle. It hasn't been field tested, but it's performing well in simulations. I call it the Landmaster.
There's no way I'm cramming into a dirt crawler with the 3 of you.
Relax, Falco, it's a one-seater.
Perfect. It's all yours, Fox.
Guess I'll be taking the Landmaster for a test drive. Get it ready to deploy, Slippy. I've got a train to catch.
Alright, I just didn't want to interrupt the cutscenes, because that is one of the things that, you know, is 100% brand new. And I do really like how they have, like, little intros and also talk about, like, the mission objectives. And, like, for instance, on that one, you know, they specified the 8 locks, which is specifically, if you do that, is the mission accomplished objective. But as I was saying before, in the N64 version, you can reroute to Titania even if you get the mission accomplished on Sector
It
X.
boosts and rolls just like the R-Wing. It hovers too.
But basically what it does is, like, it lets you reroute to Titania, and then, like, it literally just deletes, like, Slippy from your party.
For anybody.
So, but it doesn't allow you to do this, to do that in this version, and that's part of, like, what threw me off, because I was, like, expecting to just be able to reroute it like I could in
They're not taking me seriously.
the N64 version. However, like, it does make a lot of sense, you know, especially because they put so much emphasis into, like, these cutscenes that, you know, it wouldn't make sense basically any reason to go to Titania, because Titania is basically just like a wasteland planet. So it wouldn't make any sense at all to go to Titania if not for Slippy being knocked down there. So it makes sense, but it made my routing on this a little more annoying, because Titania was like the last planet that I had to, like, go out of my way to go and get, because
Try the hover mode.
a lot of the other planets are pretty easy to get, whether or not you're going easy or hard route, and it's actually, I feel like, pretty decently easy to get those middle planets.
We gotta keep pace with that
So here we are, you know. I'm playing Macbeth instead, and I will go back and do Titania. I'll just throw it in with all of the planets that I don't get to on my 2 routes that I do. Since, you know, I was already gonna cover all the planets that I missed anyway. So, I will go back and do that one. It's just annoying that I had to go out of my way just because I did not realize that it would be different in this game compared to 64, specifically just with that, you know, reroute. But I guess, you know, when I think about it, yeah, it does make sense. It is kind of weird to allow you to change route when Slippy is still fine, because otherwise you have no reason to go to Titania. But yeah, kind of just a little annoying, but it is what it is. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Titania anyway. I think it's just because I just never play it, so I'm just like not as familiar with it, and I feel like that makes it, you know, kind of difficult for me. Like, I know, you know, like what the boss is and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not necessarily surprised by any of that, but I'm like, yeah, I like never play Titania. But I am also gonna go for just getting the switches. Honestly, it's what I do, like, most of the time anyway. For this specific one, it's actually not a real big deal if I don't get all the switches, though, since, you know, I'm going to the, I think it's pronounced Pulse energy base anyway. So, it's not a huge deal if I don't get all the switches, but I'm gonna, you know, try and get all the switches for sure. Just because it's what I always do, and gonna be honest, I mean, pretty sure it's faster. Regardless, but
I've got the one on the right. You're welcome.
it's more for, gonna be honest, it's honestly more for just the score and just like habit, you know? It's just what I do anyway.
Great shooting, Fox.
It is so weird that that doesn't like stop immediately, so you just still like drive. And I presume you could probably accidentally like lose a life on that if you're that damaged, which would actually kind of suck. Like, you hit the lock and then you explode right before the cutscene starts, so you have to go back from the checkpoint.
What's the view from on high?
I feel like that would suck.
Sure didn't see that coming. Wow.
That'll put a damper on Andross's plans.
That was our best explosion yet.
Well, but anyway. Honestly, I actually quite enjoy Macbeth. And, you know, this kind of worked to my advantage, too, because I ended up getting the medal for it, which was kind of what I was going for.
A new intelligence report is available in the Holo Viewer.
Especially because getting the mission accomplished gives you like 50 hits, but I'll sign out for today and let you watch the cutscene, but I'll catch you next time.
Starfox, your tactics on Macbeth were inspired. The enemy is scrambling to salvage what they can of their operations. Now is the time to strike.
Way ahead of you, General. We're planning our approach to Venom now.
Do so carefully, Fox. You're positioned to take Andross by surprise. But first, you'll have to survive the planet's orbital defenses. I must maintain radio silence from here on out. There's too great a risk that our communications could be intercepted. I wish you luck on your final advance, Starfox. When you next take flight, you take the hopes of the entire system with you.
It's been fun, General. We'll see you on the other side. Talk to me, team.
I hate to say it, but it looks like we'll have to confront the Bolt's defense satellite head on. And when we do, Andross will know we're coming for him. By the time we reach his stronghold, he'll be ready for us.
What about this route? We could bypass Bolts completely if we go that way.
Area 6? I'm seeing a lot of enemy movement in that region.
It's the deadliest stretch of space in the system, Fox. A lethal gauntlet designed to obliterate any military advance on Venom.
Sounds perfect. There's no way Andros would expect us to launch an assault there. You up for another challenge, Fox?